Welcome to today's show with Phil. Today we're going to talk about a topic. Alright, an ex-husband got divorced because the wife cheated. So, we're going to cover a topic, and I'm going to play a video of this topic right here below. Alright.
Relationship advice. Update. My 40 male ex-wife, 40 female, wants me to be with her in her last days. Original post. Backstory. I met my ex when we were both 10. She is, my twin sister's best friend, so we've always been kind of a trio growing up. We started dating at 14 and got married at 23. Things got ugly though, cause 5 years after getting married, she told me she had a month-long affair with her co-worker. Apparently, the guilt was too much for her, so she confessed. We tried to work through it, but after a few months of trying, I knew that despite the fact that I loved her, I couldn't trust her anymore. She told me she still loved me, and that she'd wait for me and prove that I was the only one. I wanted to believe her, but, some things just can't be fixed and we never had kids. 3 years after the divorce, I met my now wife, 38 female, and we got married 2 years after dating. She's everything I could ever dream of in a wife and more. My ex, as my sister told me, they're still besties, never really recovered. She quit her job, and is now working in a church. Throughout my relationship with my wife, she kept trying to get back together and, on the day of my wedding, she told me she still loved me, and would love no one else. She said this was the last time she would bother me, but that she'll wait for however long it took. Apparently, she's honest in that regard, at least cause my sister says she's never been with anyone since. So here's what happened recently. My wife and I, married for 7 years now, have 2 kids, 7 female, and 3 male. My sister came over with her own kids so the cousins could play. While my wife was out to pick up lunch, my sister sat me down and told me the situation about my ex. Apparently, she only has less than 6 months to live. She refused treatment and wants to live the last few months to the fullest. I guess that's why her and my sister really went out of their way to travel despite the pandemic. One thing on her bucket list though, was that she wanted to feel like my wife again. No intercourse, no kissing, she just wanted me to be around the house. She still lives in the house we lived in, again, and maybe hold her from time to time. I told her I wouldn't do that, because that was pretty much emotionally cheating. My sister kept arguing and begging me to at least see her and hear her out. We kept arguing, no screaming. The kids were in the next room with her older daughter, till my wife came back. My sister told her the whole story, and while she looked upset, she said she understood where my ex was coming from. When my sister left, my wife and I talked about it. My wife knows everything that happened in the past with my ex. She says, while she isn't thrilled about the idea, she won't get upset if I decided to see her on a regular basis. My wife is literally the best thing that ever happened to me, and I love her more than anyone. She makes me happier than I've ever been in my life, even in the good times with my ex. She knows I won't cheat. I also have 0 romantic feelings for my ex, so there's nothing wrong in there. I don't hate her or anything, it's just that the love I had for her has long since died. After thinking about it for a while, I'm honestly 50-50 about it. I know I don't owe her anything, but I feel like I might regret not seeing her at least one more time, since the last time I saw her was on my wedding day, and that wasn't a good encounter for either of us, unless you count the times I occasionally see her in the store or something. I honestly feel like, despite what she did, she still deserves to go with some peace. On the other hand, I'm not entirely sure if this might potentially affect our marriage. My wife says she's okay with it, and I believe her, but I just can't be sure that she'll feel the same way after it happens. I don't want anything to jeopardize what I have right now, no matter what. I'm not too thrilled about going myself, to be honest. Any advice? What should I do? Edit. Just want to add that if ever I do this, I won't be acting like a husband or anything inappropriate like that. Just going to see her and talk for a bit. My sister says that me just being there and sharing a meal with her would be more than enough for her to feel like we were married again. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Just my opinion, but I wouldn't do it. There's plenty of risk and very little possible reward. If you want to show goodwill towards your ex, run errands for her, or show support in some other way, have a meal sometime with her, with your wife present. You don't owe anything to your ex, so these gestures are more than you are obliged to do. In my opinion, this scheme would be playing with fire with regards to your current marriage. OP.
Okay, I'm sorry to pause this. I want to give Reddit Out Loud Relationship credit for this video right here. Now, men are hardwired to love their wife with everything they got. And I don't care what kind of cheating, I don't care what kind of cheating happened, whether there's an emotional affair, physical affair, sexual affair. Cheating is cheating, period. Now, according to this Reddit post, the ex-wife feels guilty, and the guilt is eating her up alive. Well, I mean, you know, it's like that song by Cinderella, Tom Kiefer. He made a song on Long Cold Winter. You don't know what you got until it's gone. All right? You don't know what you have until it's gone. So, now, male or female, if you cheat on somebody, you're playing with fire, basically. And, moreover, I mean, think about it. You betrayed a trust. Now, the man, his trust gets betrayed, he's going to get all kinds of attack and shaming language just going his way. All right? You know, and listen to me, everybody. Relationship is a two-way street. There's been an instance where somebody tried an open polyamory relationship and confessed that it works. Let me share this with you. It will not work. Sorry about that. I got a June bug in my shirt. It will not work. I'll tell you why. During that relationship, jealousy is going to grow. Resentment's going to grow. All right? With that being said, you're playing with fire. Let's continue with the show.
P. I really feel sad for your ex. The last 12 years must be full of sadness and regret for her. All of that because of one stupid decision on her part, without giving much thought to the consequences that might arise from this decision. That being said, this is her dying wish. So, what I'm going to say is going to sound heartless. But please hear me out. Your wife sounds like an angel and very mature. I'm really happy to hear that she and you guys feel very secure in your relationship with each other, that you feel comfortable enough to bring this up with her, and for her to grant this. I'd say that a lot of families strive for this kind of relationship. Even though you have no feelings for your ex, this still has the potential of causing some strain in your marriage, with repercussions that may go on for a long time. Your ex may not be around, but you'll be around to bear the brunt of that decision. So, I'd strongly urge you to consider all the possibilities and potential consequences of this decision, unlike what your ex did. If you really want, you can certainly consider running errands for her and or meeting her often in open public places like parks during the day. I find it amusing that she's the one who cheated and you were the one to have moved out, and she's the one who ended up keeping the house that you both bought. And now, she wants to play house, husband and wife with you in that same house. She expects you and your wife to be okay with it? I understand that you now have no feelings towards your ex, and I'd say that you are a better person than I am for that. Do not do this. This has the potential to backfire and ruin your marriage. At the bare minimum, put unneeded strain on it. I know your wife said that she will back whatever decision you choose, but trust me, this will affect her negatively. Your ex-wife will be gone and you'll be left with this weird tension inside your marriage. Also, you have kids. How are you going to explain your absence to them? I would agree to meet up for coffee and have her get some closure about everything. Afterward, discuss with your wife if continuing to get coffee and talking with her, as a friend, is a comfortable boundary for you both. You can be there for your ex-wife and keep your current wife your number one priority. This is a sad situation and I feel sorry for your ex-wife, but don't be willing to throw a wrench into your own happiness. Your wife sounds like an angel. Please, please, please do not do this. The ex wants to play house with you. She made her choices. She didn't just cheat, she has a relationship with another person. Dying is horrible. I have watched a few family members go through some painfully slow deaths. However, it didn't mean all of them were good people. You are not responsible for this woman's happiness. She should have moved on. Please, 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 do not play house with this woman. Your wife has made the choice to. She chose to be good to you and stand by your side. Maybe this doesn't affect her now, but it might later. Don't do this for the pain you might possibly cause your current wife. I am begging you. And now for the update. Quick recap, my ex-wife, who I've known since I was 10, cheated on me, but is now dying and wants me to be around before she dies. It's been almost 3 weeks since I've posted and a lot has happened since. I got some solid advice from a lot of you guys, especially some who messaged me their personal experiences. I'd like to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. So here's what happened. As many of you guys suggested, I talked to my wife. We had a long discussion about the whole situation and I assured her that no matter what, she is and always will be my first priority. I also assured her that while I wanted to say my goodbye, I would never act like her husband. It would be more like me seeing a childhood friend or something like that. I also told her I would never spend the night nor would I be alone with her. She was more comfortable after our talk and was pretty okay with the idea of me seeing my ex again. As you guys guessed, she really felt like she was forced into being okay with it when my sister asked, but this time, she really was okay. So, I talked to my sister, and after a long, heated discussion about what my role would be in the visit, she agreed to the boundaries my wife and I set. A week later, my sister and I came over to our old marital home. It was surreal, because while the emotions from years before came back to me, I didn't feel any sadness nor hatred or anything negative. I saw my ex, who was waiting for us in the living room, and she cried when I walked in. Most of you suggested she was faking it, but while she was still strong, you could tell almost immediately something was wrong with her. I indulged her with a hug, and we talked for a few hours while my sister made lunch. I showed her pictures of my kids, and told her stories about what they're like. Honestly, I didn't know how I would react after I saw her again, but it just feels like seeing an old friend you haven't seen in a long time. There was no hate or anything like that. I walked around the house, and it was pretty much the way it was when I left over a decade ago. I'm not really sure how I feel about our wedding photos still framed and pictures of us still all over the house, but it wasn't really my place to say anything. The three of us had lunch and played board games all afternoon. It honestly felt like we were back to when we were kids, and the three of us would hang out together. It was nice. I left at around 6. She was sad but she understood. When I hugged her goodbye, she whispered, "I love you" to me, but then said how she's happy I was able to find the happiness she couldn't give me. That part got to me, to be honest, and I was fighting back tears. I told her I'd see her again soon and she asked if I could bring my kids next time. I told her I would have left to pick up dinner for my family. I told my wife everything that happened and she was quite happy about the outcome. I guess it helped that I brought home her favorite food, but she also agreed to let me bring the kids next time. Overall, it was a great experience seeing her again. I feel like I needed that and would have regretted not doing so. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who gave me advice. Also, please don't roast my ex too much. She made a mistake and paid the price, but it doesn't mean she's an evil person. This will be my last update. Thank you very much, Reddit.
All right. Now, we all make mistakes. Some big, some small. Some correctable, some not too correctable. But we're all humans, right? Let anyone who's without sin cast the first stone. So let's continue on with the show, shall we?
Now for some top comments. You should thank your current wife. Flowers, card, something, for being strong enough to handle it. This, his current wife, is amazing, and there should be lots of love and reinforcement coming her way from him. I don't know if I would have agreed to it. Not sure how I feel about these return visits and involving innocent children in all of this, though. As you noted in the OP, you were over the marriage. No reason not to be there for a friend. I'm glad you went through with it. I honestly have no idea how I would have handled a situation like this. But OP has done this admirably. I'm glad things have worked out so well. My goodness, what a good outcome. I might be crying a bit over here. Right? OP sounds like such a kind human.
Now, we're going to talk about getting divorced and hanging out with your ex. Now, if the relationship did not work out the first time, what makes you think it's going to work out the second time? No, you get into our marriage and the lust wears off, reality sets in. There's a saying that sometimes people just grow together and then all of a sudden they grow apart. And people do grow apart, trust me. Anyways, let's get on with the show, shall we?
Now for the last story. My ex-wife wants us to get married again. A little background, me and my ex-wife used to be best friends. We had known each other from primary school to high school, but we started dating in college. She was also friends with my stepsister. A few years later, we got married. Few years into our marriage and my wife has a one-night stand. A few months after, as she was consumed by guilt. I took some time and even considered reconciliation. And I tried, but the thoughts of never trusting her again ate me away, and also the images of them together affected my intimacy with her. So, I decided to end our marriage, but my wife took it hard. She broke down into tears and blamed herself really hard. She was consumed with guilt and shame, and she promised herself and me that she was never going to sleep with anyone else. We remained friends and I started dating. Nothing serious, but I did see other women.
Now, I'm going to chime in on this. Now, it takes two to build up a marriage. It takes two to destroy a marriage. You know, a marriage itself is a commitment to each other that you are to be with one another until death do us part, for sickness and health, and for rich or for poor, and all that good stuff. Now, people play marriage like it's a game. I mean, all it is a piece of paper. And really, the man and the woman married the state. Alright? In the Title IV, Title IV of the Social Security Act, allow incentivization of breaking up tribal unit father homes. Now, we had all kinds of people getting married and staying married and working through marriage way back then in the 40s and 50s. It meant something to them. Alright? It meant something. You see where I'm coming at? It meant something. And now, it's all about convenience. It's all about somebody outdoing each other and what have you. It's basically what I'm trying to say. It's like a damn circus. Jokers, clowns, jugglers. Okay, you file for divorce. You invite everybody into your precious financial life. Now, to the woman who initiates the majority of the divorces, ask yourself this. When you go file for divorce and blindside your current husband, you never tell him what's wrong or what the problem is to help him address it, he would be willing to fix it. But you quietly go and file for divorce, then you do these false protective orders and what have you. Now the states are waking up to the madness. Divorces statistics are rising, and they're growing, and the marriage rates are falling. Then we have women that are becoming single mothers in Section 8 housing and glorifying this. This produces weaker men. And a woman say, oh, I want me a masculine man. Guess what? We are feminizing men. We're reducing masculinity to nothing and giving the men femininity. That is a recipe for disaster. All right? So let's continue with the show.
All this time, my wife was never involved with anyone. How do I know this? Well, me and my stepsister are really close, and we tell each other everything. My stepsister and my ex-wife still remain friends, and I trust my stepsister 100%. And also, because my wife decided to become religious and joined a church. After some 3 years of being single and dating casually, I still had a part that really loved my ex-wife. And I have to say, my ex-wife was pretty jealous of the women I dated, and it really hurt her. So, we started having intercourse with no strings attached, but eventually we started dating again cause our feelings for each other were still there. So, I have been dating my ex-wife for a little over 3 years, and now she is asking me about us getting married again. I said no, but it has been coming up for the last 3 months, which turns into a little argument, but I have told her I don't want marriage. But now, her parents and my parents says that we should remarry.
Sorry to pause this, but if the marriage will not work out the first time, what makes you think it's going to work out the second time? Logically, look from outside in. Logically, what makes you think it's going to work out? The lust wears off, reality sets in, temptations are there. So, what is the point of tying a knot? Please explain this in the comments.
I don't know how to tell them that I don't want marriage without being rude while they keep insisting. I'm happy to call her my partner, but not my wife. So, what are your thoughts on this one? Now for the top advice. I'll tell you what I told my ex. I don't want to get married to anybody, maybe ever. It doesn't have anything to do with you anymore. The idea itself is broken in my head, like a smashed mirror. Nothing makes sense when you look in it. Every morning after I found out what you did, I spent a good deal of time coming up with an excuse not to end myself. Every morning. I admit that some days, I couldn't find one. But I was so sad, or drained, or hopeless, that I was too out of energy to actually do it. Obviously, I got a little better, but when you say that word to me, married, all I remember is that dark place. I left a broken part of me there, and I don't know if I can get it back, or if I even want to. I healed without it, but I still fully realize the scar.
Now, what that man said, that she caused that scar. It's unseen to the naked eye by many, but to the ones that are afflicted, they can see it. And why would you want to tie a knot with the state? The game is rigged. It's rigged for everybody to lose. But yet people fall for this little happily married ever after mumbo jumbo. Listen. Listen to me. People want marriage. They want commitment. First, work on dating first. You know, just look at it from outside in. But according to this topic, the ex-wife is rushing to get married again and get that feeling of being one again. But it's going to be like this. It's going to be a body with two heads. You see where I'm coming at? Leave me a note in the comment below and wherever the slider is. I want to hear from you.
But it has been coming up for the last 3 months, which turns into a little argument. But I, like a smashed mirror, nothing makes sense when you look in it. Every morning after I found out what you did, I spent a good deal of time coming up with a place. I left a broken part of me there, and I don't know if I can get it back, or if I even want to. I healed without it, but I still fully realize the scar. That's how I feel. My ex-wife cheated on me a year into our marriage. I'm open to casually dating, and I may find someone to spend the rest of my life with. Someone who shares my views on marriage, or maybe not. And just like you, I wanted to end it all because, what's the point? Luckily, I overcame those destructive thoughts, and I'm here now 13 years later enjoying life. I won't marry again. I know there are women out there who are loyal, and I shouldn't hold on to that grudge, but I'm...
Listen. Many people are trying to live the 1940s and 1950s in a millennia. Please, get your head out of the gutter. We're in the midst of a sexual revolution where the image of family DNA is being blurred. It's being rewritten over time, and that it's being blurred out. Okay? Let's continue.
not going to put myself in that position. To me, marriage is the first step towards reliving that nightmare. I'd rather die than go through that again. Yeah, you definitely shouldn't rush it, and she shouldn't pressure you into this.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with not wanting to get married. Listen to your own instincts.
Yep.
I think it's really nice you're giving her a second chance. She shouldn't be pressuring you into this.
Right.
Rush it? 3 years. He either has forgiven her or not at this point.
Right.
I think the next time it comes up, if it's anyone who isn't her, you say, I don't want to be rude, but this is private between ex-wife and myself. If they push, you can say, again, I don't want to be rude, but I'm not discussing this with you.
Right.
Stop discussing it with either of your parents. With her, be honest about what you're willing to offer her. You're not open to remarriage right now, and don't know that you will ever be. Tell her she needs to stop harping on it. Bringing it up over and over won't help you change your mind. In fact, it's likely to make you lock down even more.
Right.
Then ask if she can accept that. Can she accept what you have to offer her right now, which is dating and may never be remarriage, or not? It has to be her choice to accept what is.
Yep.
Yeah, and maybe convey to her that you want a partnership and not a marriage. Be super clear with what exact your expectations are.
Right.
And that's it for this video, guys.
So, you know, oftentimes when people cohabitate out of, you know, when people actually wake up and smell the coffee, marriage is a commitment, all right? Not only men marry each other with a woman, they also married the state. And it should be sanctified. It should be protected. It's supposed to be a beautiful union. But in the world, it's turned into a mockery. Even the world's richest men with money coming out of their ears and nose and kazoo can't even keep a wife. Did you know that? And some Hollywood celebrities are on their 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, and maybe 9th or 10th marriage. And people look up to these celebrities. Really? It's become a thing, a laughing stock and a joke and a mockery in this world. You know? A marriage should be between a man and a woman themselves. But unfortunately, the state involves itself. Then the woman quietly goes and marries or sleeps with someone else she's infatuated with and files for a divorce case. Biggest part of the time, the statistic is actually there. All right? In fact, 70% of divorces are initiated by women. This is according to a 2015 research study conducted by American Sociology Association, ASA, which suggests 2/3 of all divorces are initiated by women. Good among college-educated women. This number jumps up to 90%. So, folks, I don't know what to tell you. To be honest with you, I don't want to marry myself. I don't want to get married. I mean, it's hard to find someone monogamous, really. Anyways, thanks for watching the show. Comment below. You take care of yourself, take care of others around you.